Chat, I want to know, do we do a last to first here? Or do we win by 20 seconds? What's the plan here? Win by 30 seconds or last to first? Well, what do we have here? What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Lost Yuki here, back with another racing video for F1 2024. Today we have a very special one. I'm actually going to commentate and let you guys know my thought process and how the races go. Now, this race was actually very special. This was probably my best performing race by far. I led almost every single lap, got pole and quali, and it was absolutely amazing. Definitely some ups and downs. There was some ups and downs, some scary moments. So make sure you watch the entire video to see those moments. If you can, make sure you hit that like button. Hit the subscribe if you can. That's always free, you know. Let me know. Our goal, we're trying to reach to 200 subscribers by the end of the month. So please let me know if we can reach that. I would greatly appreciate each and every single one of you guys helping me out. Without further ado, let's get into the video. So, coming into the final lap of quali, you might be asking, why is your delta so low? And in F1 2024, they do give you a lot of fuel, and it's not very easy to fuel burn when it comes to your quali laps. So what I like to do, especially around Austria, which is the track we are racing at here today, the Red Bull Ring, if you do not know, it gives you around 3.4 to 3.5 laps of fuel. So I do, not only coming out of the pits, I also do an extra lap to burn a bit of more fuel, have less weight in the car to be quicker around the straight lines and the corners. It does compromise your exit speed, but if you can withstand that, you will have an amazing lap, and that's why our delta is so low. So, starting out on the lap, on the final corner, we had a pretty decent exit to start the lap. We are a bit down by 300s at the moment. All we need to do is have a pretty good corner one to keep that pace up, and sadly, we were not able to get that. We actually lost about 7,000, so we're going to keep losing time going down the straight, trying to burn as much battery as we can without burning all of it. Coming into corner 3 now, pretty decent on the exit. We actually gained time, so we found about over a tenth and a half just in one corner alone. So there was definitely more time in this quali lap. Coming into corner 4 now, we went as wide as we can out of that curb to gain as much traction as we can. We locked the brakes up just a little bit. That lost us a bit of time. We weren't able to get the amount of rotation that we wanted, but we were still able to find time, trying to go as flat out as we can through corner 6 and 7. Just a bit of a lift. It was a bit wobbly at the exit, not as much as we burn all of the battery as much as we can on the final sector. We are 10th and a half up, so we are looking pretty good. And the final 2 corners are basically flat out, just a bit of engine braking. Coming across the final straightaway, we do improve by about a tenth and a half, which does keep us on pole position, luckily, as we saw that Ferrari completely stopped on the track. I think he retired his car, breaking his front tire, and that's what happened. But yes, we do get pole position right off the rip by quite a decent margin. We'll take it. I mean, it wasn't the best of laps from us. Obviously, plenty of mistakes in our lap, and there's still time to improve, but nonetheless, it is pole position, so we will take that to account going into the start of the race. We will be at a disadvantage having to lead this train. Having DRS in Austria is a DRS heavy train. It is also very heavy on fuel, so we do need to watch out for that. The strategy going into this race is actually going to be quite interesting. I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, we were going to do a medium hards, 14 laps on the mediums, 22 laps on the hards. We had about almost 2 to 3 laps extra fuel going into this race, so we were definitely playing quite conservative when it came to the fuel. Obviously, this league is a bit interesting. We do have formation lap, which is very fun to deal with, which I don't think a lot of drivers in leagues do very often. Obviously, formation lap has been quite glitched out on most of the F1 games. Most of the times the races crash or the lobby won't start correctly, so that's why you won't see league races do formation lap much anymore. But nonetheless, formation lap is definitely more fun, makes the starts a bit more intense of who did the best tire heating, but it also puts a bit more strategy into people's race because you do burn up your tires just a little bit by tire wear. So it really depends on how hard do you really want to warm up your tires at the start. Do you really want that good of a start when you have 5% more tire wear than the guy that didn't heat up his tires? Now, obviously, people will cheese this and go into AI, but this is still a strategy call by a lot of drivers that some people might do different things. Obviously, with those different things, it does depend on the start. And luckily, luckily, when we do start this race, we are on the outside line, so we do get the racing line right off the rip, which will take advantage as the 5 red lights go out. And away we go. Pretty decent start from us. We actually pulled away a pretty decent gap already. We don't even have second place on our insides. We're able to take the corner. Pretty nice, getting a really good exit compared to the other cars around us. We're going to be burning our battery as best we can off the start, not burning all of it. Once again, you want to keep a little bit of it to yourself, but we have a pretty decent start coming into corner 3. Very clean from all the drivers, no collisions so far, no yellow flags, no incidences, and everybody's just found their groove already in a spot. There's no hitting, no nothing from even the top runners. So this is quite an interesting race. Obviously there's not that very many drivers this weekend, but they are all very, very quick drivers, and we didn't really practice that much, but we should have practiced more. We probably could have pulled away a bit more, but nonetheless, we are still here in P1 with a almost 6/10 gap coming off of the first lap, looking pretty good for ourselves. Obviously, when we get on to lap 2, like here, they're gonna have DRS and they're gonna absolutely fly by us, just like how Venom gets by us right here. Our good boy Sam absolutely destroys us with a straight line speed, and we're gonna have to follow him through for a couple of laps until obviously we overtake him, and it's just gonna be a flip-flop over and over and over again for a good amount of laps here. Now, here's a bit of a curveball coming off of lap 6, going on to lap 7. Right at the midway point, we do get a safety car out of nowhere, and this is quite interesting because obviously somebody has to DNF for that safety car to safety car to come out, which nobody did, surprisingly. So we still had all drivers, but a safety car did come out. Clearly somebody stopped on track, but this does throw a curveball in the mix for a lot of drivers. Most people obviously started on the mediums, so did I. So we're gonna have to pit for our hards and probably go to the end of this race if we can extend those hards. I'm assuming most of us will want to, but surprisingly, out of nowhere, I think you're going to come out P1 because everybody pit. We come out of the pits P2. Hamel comes out in front of us. The McLaren, the man, started on hards while everybody else started on mediums. So it was probably a reason why he fell so far back at the beginning of the race. But now he is at a disadvantage. He is on 8-lap old hards compared to us on brand new hards. So his tire wear is going to be a bit worse than us, but he does have the race position compared to most drivers. So it is a question of he's basically betting on another safety car to come out. I'm pretty sure he was texting in the Discord chat saying safety cars cause safety cars. And I have to agree with him. Safety cars do cause more safety cars. The drivers are bunched back up again, and that means there's more chances of a higher collision to happen once again. So he's playing this actually quite smart. Sadly, this does not work out in his favor as the safety car does come in and another safety car does not come out for him, and he just massively drops positions left and right, as we can also see Maddie on the medium. So this man went from hards to mediums, I am assuming, and has a lot of speed compared to other drivers, as the hards are actually not that great when it comes to grip compared to the mediums. So the time he'll gain is actually quite a lot on all of us, but luckily, we were able to work with Sam and Phenomatic, the kick Sauber driver behind us. Must have made a mistake because we were able to break him out of DRS, and we were able to easily pull away from him. And me and Sam just made our own little DRS train and just drove away for this entire race. Now, to throw another curveball out of nowhere, we have a Ferrari that I think spins out at the beginning of Sector 2, and he doesn't DNF, but he does hit a wall and causes another safety car, which does come in our favor. Sam was behind us, and Sam was going to be the only guy that we were going to be fighting for this race win. Obviously, he has a penalty, but he was going to be the man to beat this weekend, as we do see Maddie got by Phenomatic too. So this actually helps Maddie out of everybody here next to Hamel, because now they can put on mediums and go to the end of the race. And that's going to be the same with every single driver. So the plan worked out for Maddie, and it worked out for Hamel actually quite well. Hamel was pretty far down. I think he was up into P8 before the first safety car got P1, dropped down to P5, and another safety car came out. So another safety car does help in both of these drivers' favors. As you can see, we both obviously go into the pits, and this time, yes, everybody follows us through, but a questionable play comes out of nowhere. As we see, Maddie pits for hards, and King, it stays out. He was on hards. He stays out and does not pit. He must have not had another pair of mediums, but this does give him race positions. I don't know if this man was betting for another safety car, or if he thought he could bring those to the end and compete with everybody on mediums. Either or, he was at a massive disadvantage, and there wasn't that very many laps left. There was only around maybe 14 laps at the time, so he was already on used hards compared to brand new medium drivers. The only person that was near him, and when it came to that, was obviously Maddie. But Maddie must have had at least 5 to 6 lap younger hards, so he is going to be massively underpowered compared to every other driver when it comes to grip. Now, once again, remember that saying, safety cars cause safety cars. And speaking of which, right after we had the safety car restart, we had another safety car come out of nowhere. And this one really throws another questionable curveball, because obviously you pit. Now, the question is, do most drivers stay out, or do some pit? Obviously, King is going to want to pit, but does Maddie stay out? And yes, he does. Maddie does stay out. So he is going balls to the walls with these hards, and he's sticking it out. Obviously, the medium runners, it's only been half a lap, so the tire wear wasn't horrible. We could just stay out, and this will just make it even easier for us to have a bigger advantage on the hards, because we're doing less laps under race time, burning up our tires. After that safety car restart, everything kind of died down just a little bit for a couple of more laps. We once again had Phenomatic come up into P3 because Maddie was on the hards, but another mistake must have been made, or we just had the pace on Phenomatic, because me and Sam once again pulled away and got out of DRS. And into the closing laps, we thought this race was going to be over. This was how it's going to end. Me and Sam would swap back and forth, and I would win if I didn't choke at the very end, because Sam has a 3-second. But once again, League Racing and F1 can bring the unimaginable, and anything can happen. And sure enough, less than 7 laps go by, and we have another safety car, the final safety car to even happen. And this is within 5 laps. So if there was 2 more laps later, the safety car wouldn't even have been able to come out. So this is a very, very lucky safety car for most drivers. And it's actually going to be quite interesting to see what drivers do. Do they stay out, or do they pit? Now, the smarter strategy is to obviously pit. And that was the strategy we went for, was to pit for the softs and go to the end. There were not going to be very many laps left in this race, and the softs would make it to the end with a lot of grip and a lot of speed going through. But coming out of the pits, we come out in 4th place. Yes, that's right, 4th place. 3 other drivers in front of us, TTV, King, and if I believe it was a Kick driver who stayed out in front of us, who was Finn-O-Matic. Once again, the man was staying out on a mission. He knew he could have the race positions to gain spots on us. Now, very unluckily, Finn-O-Matic wanted to pit and missed the pit lane apparently. So then coming around on the next lap, he sped, going to pass the safety car to go into the pits. But this game is very, very strict when it comes to penalties about safety car rules. He passed the safety car way too quick and was disqualified from the race. So Finn-O-Matic having a really good race from P3, gets disqualified and now scores no points, and the safety car extends by an extra lap, meaning we're only going to have a total of less than 2 laps of racing, which also means no DRS for the rest of the final 2 laps of this race. Now, luckily for us, we're starting in P3 now, and the 2 drivers in front of us, being King and TTV, are on very old tires, and we're on brand new softs, so it's all going to come down to race pace because no DRS is going to be activated. We obviously have Rudy Boy behind us and the other McLaren behind us trying to keep up with the new tires, but Rudy Boy does have a drive-through, so we don't got to worry about him. The only person we got to worry about is Hamel, who's coming out of nowhere. Sam also had wing damage, so he dropped down to last. As we can see, we get by TTV right off the safety car restart, and it's only King in front of us as King actually starts to lose the rear and then spins the car. We barely dodged that out of nowhere. The soft tires giving us the grip to dodge that. We also would have been taken out with King right there. That was very, very luckily we were able to move that great reaction time from us. And because of that, we're able to now pull away with TTV now being right behind us. Rudy Boy's the only one that can even compete against us, and he has a drive-through penalty, so his race is over. He needs to serve it before he gets disqualified. So that means Hamel, who's 1.5 seconds down and has a hard runner driver in front of him, who's also his teammate, slowing him down, which means we can just keep creating a bigger and bigger gap. Going on to the final lap of the race now, we also get fastest lap on lap 35. So now we submit the fastest lap. I don't think anybody else is going to be able to even beat it at the end of this race, as Rudy Boy actually gets disqualified. He needed to serve his lap, this drive through that lap, and he did not. So that means he's disqualified, and Hamel is right behind us now, as his teammate actually sends it on him with old hearts and takes him and Hamel out, meaning Sam gets by. Both of them slips right through, but Sam has 6 seconds worth of penalties for cutting corners, which means Hamel is still net P2. Sam obviously knows this, gives Hamel the position. But now we have a 2.7 second gap, and we're just making it bigger and bigger and bigger. We're in clean air, not fighting anybody, with brand new softs, and I think we're going to be able to keep fastest lap because of all the fighting that everybody else had. We burnt as much battery as we could, and this race, yes, might have been a bit boring, but strategy calls and consistency was what made us come out victorious as we come across the line, becoming the Grand Prix race winner of Austria, the Red Bull Ring, and this was our first race in this league. So on our debut race, we got pole and the race win, so congratulations to us, and this was overall an amazing race. I hope you all enjoyed watching this video. Thank you all so much for coming out and watching. If you can, once again, hit that like and subscribe button, leave a comment, let me know what I should do next, and I'll see you all next time. Peace, everybody.
Genie grind, I wish I'm getting rich, huh? Remember when I said I hit a lick, huh? I don't really wanna fuck the bitch, what? Willie when I made another hit, okay, like Prada on my motherfucking kid, huh? Louis on my motherfucking hip, huh? Curry